The plan B. She had an emotional affair. Wife and I have improved recently. She says she's happy now. I still think there are issues, but we are working on them. Yesterday I found out that back during the really unhappy bit 3 months ago or so, that she had given her number to someone she met online and had texted him loads of times, got the phone bill, and called him a lot. It seemed to stop suddenly on the 1st of Jan, coinciding with her revelation that us splitting was a huge mistake. I confronted her. She said they never met and it was just a huge, horrible mistake because at the time she was deeply unhappy with the relationship. She said she told him to leave her alone. This ties in with the phone bill. Now I don't know what to do. We have been doing well recently, but I don't know how to get the trust back. She probably didn't meet him, but I don't know for sure. Maybe they did meet. I can never tell if she's lying. She has lied to me before. I am so angry at what she did and I don't want to be a pushover. She is devastated and has continually said sorry. I told her I need some space. She is staying in the house and just crying about it. I want her to sweat about this big time because if it wasn't for our son, I'd probably have walked out the door and never looked back months ago. Myself and my wife of 7 years are on month 4 of trying to work through the problems. We have major setbacks a lot and both of us consider leaving sometimes. My questions are, A. Is it easier to work on a marriage when you're living apart? Part of me thinks it may be easier if we lived near each other but in separate places, so we could go to counseling, date, work on it like that, even for 6 months. B. We have problems with pretty much every aspect of our marriage right now, including bonding. Is it better to stop sleeping together until other aspects are sorted? Is it in fact better to sleep in separate bedrooms until at least some of the closeness returns? It's hard to say whether we are committed. We both want it to work, but we're not full of confidence that it will. We say things like we're trying again and we're working on it, but when we get a setback, one or both of us is back to thinking about taking a break. Maybe counseling will help with that. We start next week. I am so sick of my situation. I feel like screaming or exploding. I work on my own life. I try to give her space, but if I'm honest with myself, the only reason I am unhappy is because she is. I say to her, I agree, I am also unhappy, but the fact is, that is just because she is. What drives me mad is that fact she tells me nothing about what she thinks of me, and if I ask her specific questions about that, she'll get angry and tell me we need to take this slowly and the problems won't be fixed overnight. Yes, dear, I know, I don't mind working on the problems, but first I need to know what they are. She has problems with me, but I can't know what they are. Can't talk about them, and her solution is to just wait. Carry on. Can you imagine how frustrating that is? She says the passion, spark is missing and obviously has started to think we may never have had any in the first place. If she thinks we never had a spark, or she thinks we did but we lost it, it's not going to just magic itself back. She'll need to tell me what specifically annoys her, and I am 1,000,000% happy to work on those things. Right now, what she wants is to just tread water, and that is creating a pressure cooker inside of me. It took me weeks to get my wife to admit there was even a problem, and when she did, I had dragged out with her that it was with our relationship. I definitely think she is scared to tell me, and I will bear what you have said in mind. I told her to pick someone she knows to confide in, that I don't mind if she tells someone about our problems. I asked her to pick someone and just tell them everything. I thought that might help, but no. I wasn't angry at the start. I really believe I handled it well at the start, but that was 3 months ago. There is only so much space I can give before I want some honest answers. I told her I can take anything she wants to say. Don't be afraid. I won't get angry. We'll handle it together. The other possibility is that the problem is with her life. She has few friends, since we moved a year ago, no job and almost no activities that get her out the house, make her excited, make her fulfilled with her day. Her life for years has revolved around our son and me. Maybe she's just bored with her life in general and highlighted the passion, spark, because that is the only thing that would ever bring joy to her right now. If she had a life going on of her own, maybe that stuff would be much less of an issue. She did connect with someone online over a period of about a month. Nothing very flirty from the chats, but there were calls too, usually very short ones of like a minute. Strange. Some days several of them. I confronted her with it and she was devastated. I didn't talk to her for days. I almost left. She said she had stopped it weeks before and told him to leave her alone. She showed me the chats that proved that. She swears they never met, but frankly the trust has gone for me. I am trying to ignore the trust issue for now, as I know we can get that back over time if we sort out what is making her unhappy. I told her if she ever talked to a guy on the phone behind my back again, I would ask her to leave immediately, and I really meant it. I also said if I found out they did meet that I would ask her to leave, as it would be another lie. She still insisted they didn't after me asking 1,000 times, so I left it at that. I am continuing to keep tabs on her in this respect. The funny thing is, he probably got the truth about our relationship. Some random guy I don't know knows more about what my wife thinks of me than I do. What a life. Okay, I am going on the defensive slightly here. bear with me. I want to mention that telling her that if you find out she cheated, she's out the door immediately, and then asking her 1,000 times if she cheated is like telling the 4-year-old if he stole a cookie, he'll never get another one. And, by the way, did he steal a cookie? I told her if she told me now, then I was prepared to stay and work it out. I said if I found out later via some other means that she still hadn't come clean, I would leave. Perfectly reasonable, I think. I simply asked for the truth now, and if I found out later she still hadn't told me it, I was prepared to walk. I had thought about this and I still believe it was fair. She maintained that they had never met, and at the moment I have no reason to believe this is not truth. You are right that I have not done anything to help her with her needs. The reason for that is she hasn't and won't tell me what they are. She insists she doesn't know what they are, so how am I supposed to know? I am here and ready to help her in every way possible. As soon as she opens up and communicates with me, I will be all over it and completely at her service. And while I wait and hope that she will open up and figure out what it is that will make her happy, I sit quietly and try not to burst into flames. First counseling session tomorrow night. I am praying she will talk about her issues. I honestly have tried. I talked to her about this form last night, but she refused to fill it out. I said, okay, can you just list the things that I do to annoy you? Anything at all. I promise I will not get angry and I'll work on them. She says the only thing she wants me to do right now is to stop talking about our relationship. Then she said getting married was the biggest mistake of her life. Ouch. 4 months into our marriage breakdown, we finally seemed to have the issues out in the open. She wasn't happy about 1. Bonding, passion lacking. In fact, she said the bonding had never been that great ever since we met. 2. She has no life outside of the house. I figured 1 was my responsibility and 2 was hers. I bought books on romance, started planning ways of turning this around. She started looking for a job, joined a tennis club, etc. For the past 5 days we finally seemed to have a plan. Yesterday I had hinted we would have slept together that night. I had some different things planned. I went to bed early and half slept, half waited on her. It got to midnight and I got fed up. I went downstairs and found her engaged in a webcam conversation with a guy. It was flirty. She had met this guy in a shopping center and they had exchanged email addresses. She had a previous with a guy she had met online, but she had ended that herself. I found out after it had ended, and it was during the time all the problems were bottled up and we weren't working on them. I was just getting over that one because I could at least understand why she did it. I told her last time if she ever did it again it was over. I told her I wanted her to leave myself and our son as she was hurting me, and if she stayed, we'd be arguing and that'd hurt our son. She became hysterical, regretful, apologetic. She asked if I'd ever give her another chance. I answered nothing. I maintained that she'd have to leave and we agreed I would drive her to her friends. When my son was home from school, the 3 of us made the trip and I dropped her off there. It is the hardest thing I have ever done in my life by miles. She goes to Paris on Monday for a week with her family. They live in 3 separate countries, so very rarely are all together. She texted me last night to ask if she can still contact me. I said it depended on what it was about, and that she could contact me about our son anytime. So, I'm waking up this morning just myself and my son. I still feel angry and hurt. I don't know what I am going to do now, but I feel like if we ever tried again, I would never be able to trust her. The fact is she is a very good liar and always makes these mistakes. She'd probably do it again. However, it's very difficult to make the decision to end the relationship when you love the person so much, as I do in every way. I have just told my son that Mummy has gone to Paris early. My only worry right now is whether I have done the right thing. As a husband, should I not be doing everything I can to keep the family together? But why do this now? At the time we had finally got everything out in the open and had both committed to making it work. She obviously wasn't committed. Sorry, I just wanted to get it out. My wife is begging and pleading for another chance. She is very distraught. In light of this, I think if she came back, we'd work on stuff for a while and it'd be okay. But then 6 months down the line, what will happen? Maybe number 3. Other than going back to marriage counseling, I can't really think of any other way of sorting our relationship out or mitigating the risk of this happening again. I suppose the key to it all is to figure out what needs she has that I am not meeting and figuring out how to meet it. We were working on these things, but she does this again during our period of discovery, which seems almost self-destructive. I caught both of these emotional affairs fairly early on. The first one she ended by herself after we had our problems out in the open. I could have forgiven her for that one eventually. But the second one is the real kicker and leads me to believe there is a strong possibility of it happening again in the future. But I love her and we have a son, so it's hard to just say no. It's over without really thinking that we have no chance at all of making it work. It has been months since my 7-year marriage started going downhill. My wife suddenly expressed dissatisfaction with our relationship and it all went wrong from there. She had 2 very brief emotional affairs, both of which I caught early. I told her she had one more chance. I wanted to try again to make sure I wouldn't have any regrets, that I had tried everything. She became depressed and started antidepressants. They took a while to work, but things seemed to be getting better. She started laughing a lot more. Things just felt better. She seemed happy, and therefore I was happy too. Well, yesterday I noticed she had become all reserved and moody again. I asked her about it at night and she explained she still wasn't happy with the relationship, and that it was just okay and we were just living our lives. She says she wants it to be great. I ask her how we can make it great, what is missing, and she says she doesn't know. This is the exact same conversation we had months back when this all started. I am so fed up with it now. I have nothing left to give. I think I'd be happier if she just left, but we have a son of 6 years. She also has no money. She has 2 jobs, but they only total 15 HRS a week. When she is happy, I am happy, but I feel this can't be fixed. It has gone on too long. Even if she says she's okay now, in a few weeks it'll be back to the same old conversation. I am weary and feel I can't make any more effort. I am tired of the same conversations. I am tired of having to watch what I say around her. I am tired of her saying the relationship is just okay and offering nothing to improve it. Counseling was completely useless for us. I have nothing left. Just found out she has been chatting to the guy she had an emotional affair with a few months back. Now it's over. She has gone into her sorry, please punish me routine. This is her 3rd emotional affair. The last time she talked to this guy we separated as I found it so unacceptable. Now she was talking to him again behind my back. I want her to move out and leave my son and I in the house. At least for 6 months to see how it goes. But she says she won't leave. She'll do anything but that. My son will be heartbroken, but she is making me miserable. And she has lied to me so many times. I worked on myself for months when this all started. I really feel great about my life except for her. I am strong and confident in what I am doing. I really don't have any worries. I like who I am and what I do. There's a room I can move into. I will certainly be doing that in the short term. Pretty sure right now she would do anything. She did the last times too. Huge regret and begging for forgiveness. Then over a few weeks as things settle down, she gets back to it. I have access to all the accounts. All she has is her phone. I could ask for that for a few weeks to get us over the initial stage and until we have a plan of action for working on things. As far as the OM goes, I don't think she has any intention, fantasy, or otherwise, to make a life with him. She uses him for some sort of validation that I don't give her. Short term, I don't need to stop them contacting. She won't contact him anymore over the coming weeks. Then as things settle down, she'll need a fix. She can't help herself. The problem with stopping all the monitoring and setting her free is I wouldn't know when she starts physically cheating. I am 28 now. I don't want to be 38 when I figure out she has been cheating for 10 years. I wish she had physically cheated, then I could end it without hesitation. For the people that posted that all I can do is change to be someone she'll love, I am not interested in changing for her at all. I like who I am and what I do. If I am not willing to change, does it mean it's over? I want her to move out. If it wasn't for our son, that would have happened last time too. While we don't argue in front of him, I feel like the best thing for him is we are all under one roof. If she was willing to talk about it civilly, then maybe we could arrange a 6-month separation calmly and properly. This would be my preference, but she won't talk about it at all right now. She firmly refuses to leave the house. I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to act today. Managed to sleep okay last night. Used to this situation now. She has agreed to move out for 6 months if I pay her rent. She is seeing a place today. Son will stay with me through the week, her at weekends. She will go to therapy. She has first appointment next week. After 6 months we'll review what we want. She went totally crazy the other day. We went out for a drink to talk about how it'd work. It all broke down and she went into a huge mood. I told her she was acting differently to a person who still wants forgiveness and for the relationship to work. Everything spiraled out of control and she gave me her wedding ring back in a crying, shouting state. I said if she didn't leave for the 6 months I'd have to go to court. Then in a massive U-turn she grabbed her ring back and started begging for forgiveness and said she'd do anything as long as we didn't get divorced. She calmed down since then and has accepted looking for a place. Who said separation was hard? This is so easy. Not. Am I even doing the right thing? I am so tough to her on the outside, but on the inside my mind is just constantly second-guessing what I'm saying. One minute I think it's the right thing to do and the next I think it'd all be okay if she goes to therapy and I'd pay her much more attention. She's clearly not in a stable state right now. Also, I have looked into the custody thing. I am nowhere near going to court about this, but I'm doing my research. Plan D type thing. There is no way in a million years she'd get custody based on our circumstances. Everything is stacked heavily in my favor. I don't know what's in her head, but this probably partially accounts for the U-turn. I had a look online at bipolar disorder too. It doesn't really match her moods. She doesn't get highs in between the lows. Other than this one case. It was so strange. She just completely changed what she was saying in the blink of an eye. So, my wife has got her own place after her emotional affairs and all our problems. We have agreed a 6-month trial separation. She does not want to move out, so it has been very hard to make this happen and it has taken weeks to arrange. However, every time I question whether it's the right thing to do, she does something to remind me it is. I am paying her rent until she finds a job with more hours. Our son will stay with me 4 nights through the week and with her 3 nights over the weekend. I need to somehow get my son to and from school every day, and I know it will be hard to keep the house running. I work long hours, although from home. I don't know what this is going to feel like. We have agreed to date once a week, so I need to arrange a weekly babysitter. I don't know where we'll go or what we'll do. Money will be tight. Our son took the news really well. In fact, he seems quite excited at the prospect of sleeping in the flat sometimes than the house. We just told him we weren't getting on well and wanted to spend a little time apart. He asked some questions and responded very positively to this. Huge relief on that front. I just hope over the next 6 months we can rebuild our marriage from scratch, minus all the lies. 5 days into the separation with her in her own flat, her best mate called me up last night and told me she had seen that guy again. At the new flat that I pay for. The day before, she told me not to trust anything she says. She sent me 3 texts. I sent her one this morning and she isn't replying. It's 5 a.m. I have literally been awake all night. I am a total mess. I am so hurt because this means it's 100% over and she is obviously having a physical affair with him. I have been awake all night. Now I need to work from 6 a.m. and sort my son out for school. I am going off the rails. I am so sad. I really thought we might still work out. I can't bear the thought of them together. I have just confirmed it. She had slept with him on Monday. How can I get through this? I need to see her every week for the rest of my life for my son. It's awful. I am sick. Just found out that she was sleeping with him 2 months back in a friend's house. It's all coming together now. Meeting her in 3 hours. I don't know why, but I want her to admit it to me. Is that just pointless? I feel sick in my stomach. I told her I am no longer paying her rent and that I want a divorce. I don't know whether to see her or not in 2 hours. I just want to hear it from her lips for some reason. I want her to admit it and say she regrets it and wants me back, to aid my own feelings. She said in text she wants me back. There is no way I can stay with the girl now. This is way too much. I still can't believe it. 8 years marriage and she has thrown away her family. Stupid girl. I just talked to her for 2 hours. I feel better, got it all off my chest. She admitted she has been seeing him but not that they had slept together. It's unbelievable that she can still deny it. By the end of our conversation, I think she was starting to realize that she has thrown away everything for a bit of excitement. He even has a girlfriend that doesn't know about this. She will in about 2 hours though, as I have her email address. My wife has chronic Hep B too. Bet she didn't tell him. He probably has it now and has passed it and turned to his GF. I'll tell her this too and I suspect it will feed back to him. Poor girl. She's begging to come back over and over via text. I just keep telling her to call her boyfriend. She won't though. It's not fun now. It's not exciting anymore. Onwards and upwards. Turns out his girlfriend knew nothing about it and they have been together 12 years. This has now destroyed an 8-year marriage, a 12-year relationship and hurt countless other people. For what? A few occasions of bonding. Makes no sense at all. Got 5 hours sleep and woke up with a hangover. Today this girl wants to know the whole story. Poor girl. My wife has spent all night texting me. I'm not even replying, asking for one more chance. Never. All my friends just keep saying don't listen. It's easy to start thinking that we could try again. I have been here several times with the emotional affairs and always cracked, but not this time. Physical cheating is too much for me. Turns out telling his girlfriend was a terrible idea. She has now left him. He called me up and said I was going to face the consequences of ruining his relationship. He said, I feel like coming over there right now and doing it, but that's not how I do these things. He's obviously going to have me beaten up. We have sent some texts back and forward. He keeps saying things like you should get back with your wife. She's a nice girl. He also called me a nice chap. In the last one I asked him if he was going to beat me up and he hasn't replied, which means yes. He knows bad people, apparently. So, all in all, I have now been cheated on, lost my wife and now I'm going to get done in. Should have kept my mouth shut. I'm an idiot. It was how the conversation went. He was being mellow and nice. It was so weird. I called the police. They came round briefly but said they couldn't do anything unless I wanted to make a complaint against him. If I do that they'll go round to his house and that'll make it worse. His last text was, well, she has left. So, as I said, it's done. Just need to see what happens. You should sort things out with X. She's a nice girl. Doesn't sound like someone who would have someone beaten up. However, just need to see what happens may refer to me seeing what happens to me. Same language he used on the phone. I am just feeling no confidence because I am so tired. Everything seems so much worse when I can't get a night's sleep. My wife texts me to ask for forgiveness again. I said I am just trying to protect myself and my son from her boyfriend right now. Her lover has completely disowned her and her friends and family. Brothers, mom and dad are not talking to her. She has absolutely no one left except her son. I have started to feel sorry for her. Not in any way considering trying again, never ever. But she's so pathetic. She is now sitting in her flat crying with absolutely no one to turn to. I suspect now that her lover is also sitting in his house crying to himself. They'll be back together in no time though for a bit of bonding. Most likely he only rejected my wife when he thought he still had a chance to make his relationship work. Managed to sleep last night for a few hours, although woke up a lot. Woke up at one point after dreaming that they had got into the house and were jumping on me. Going to look for a self-defense, martial art, boxing beginners class today. About time I started something after my last project finished anyway. Also going to buy a baseball bat to keep by the door. Feel terrible this morning. Mornings are the worst. The stuff that happened yesterday, the things I discovered and calls and texts I've had, must be the low point surely. It can't possibly get any worse than this. My parents are coming to spend the night tonight and my son will be at his mom's. I am feeling really sorry for my wife, one of her other friends. She has 2 left who still talk to her. But this one unfortunately lives 7,000 miles away. Told me she tried to take her own life with pills. She didn't take enough though, as she kept thinking about her son. I can't show her any comfort though, as she will interpret this as hope. She is probably not in a fit state to look after my son, but he is all she has left to cling into. I am not too worried about him going there. How I can feel sorry for someone that has done all this to me. But I love her, and I can't help it. I can't get rid of that feeling now. All the anger has gone and I want to hug her and tell her everything will be okay. She came over today and I stupidly chatted to her. I still feel really sorry for her. Her life has fallen apart. I know it's her fault, but I can't help it. I would not like to see anyone in that state. It's hard to accept, but she obviously just wasn't that attracted to me. She said she knows she has said this before, but she really knows what she wants now, and it's to come back to me and her family life. I am not thinking of taking her back, but it's really difficult. I ended up telling her that although I was going through with the divorce, if she sorted herself out, she's pretty unstable in several emotional areas. We may be able to try again if we're still single in 2 to 3 years. Probably a bad move, I just blurted it out. Loyalty, trust and devotion sounds nice though. 6 months isn't long enough for me. That was the agreement from last time before I knew it was even physical. I'm thinking 3 years, but some gorgeous trustworthy girl will have snapped me up by then surely. Update. Found out my wife had slept with a different guy before this one. So, if there was any thought in the back of my head that after the divorce, a few years down the road, we might get back together, it has gone. I felt absolutely devastated when I found out, which is strange as it doesn't really change anything. Like she kicked me in the face when I was down. Explains why our bonding was so dysfunctional. No passion. She didn't contact me all of yesterday. I sent her a few texts about what she had done and what I knew. I know she is in a very desperate place right now. Then in the first hour of that misery, her ex-best friend texts me and said she does fancy me. And always has. I tick all the boxes and I'm exactly what she is looking for. We text back and forward all day and I felt much better. Ego boost and someone who understood what I was going through. She was cheated on last year. As she seems to like me, I should not be meeting her right. Or it could turn out like a rebound thing. I don't want to hurt her like my wife has hurt me, so I thought at least for the next few months, being friends was acceptable. Forget watching the soaps on TV. Read my story instead. She claims she has always liked me. I really don't want a rebound fling thing. My brain is going a million miles an hour. I keep swinging back and forward through my thoughts. Was my entire marriage a lie? Did she never love me? Is she actually laughing at me right now? The other girl has sent me messages already this morning. Got drunk last night and didn't sleep. Mess today. So STBX that cheated on me was coming over to pick up the car. I allow her to use it when she has our son at weekends. She just takes it from the drive and drops it off again so we avoid seeing each other. Today I really wanted to talk to her. She hasn't made contact for 5 full days. Extremely unusual, and I'm trying to figure out if she has just accepted that it's over or she is playing mind games that she is so good at. I know it's all ego crap. Why am I even trying to figure this out? I am doing fine without her. This is the pathetic part. I can barely even say it. I took the child seat out the back of the car so she'd have to knock on the door. I then took a shower and put on a shirt and tie. I was going to pretend I was going out or something. That I still had a life of some kind, I guess. Needless to say, the next time I glanced out, the car was gone and I was left standing there like a proper idiot. She only gets the car at weekends when she has our son. I don't want him sitting in her crappy flat every weekend. She texted me last night saying she missed me. I said, I know girl, that's how it works I'm afraid, and that was that. Months later, I have a financial question. So, my wife cheated on me over a few months, and when I found out I made her move out to her own place. She has 2 small jobs that don't pay much and is looking for a full-time job now. She will also qualify for state benefits, but they have not come through yet. One of her employers has also failed to pay her this week. So, she has asked if I can pay her rent due Monday. My lawyer says I shouldn't pay her anything else as we must show when we divorce that she has been supporting herself. So financially this hurts me in more ways than one. One minute she is attacking me with ridiculous accusations and the next she is asking for money. Literally moments between. I also don't have a lot of money due to lawyers' bills, but I am a high earner and can afford to dip into overdrafts. In the divorce she will get thousands from me, but that is months off. Options I can see are: 1. Give her a lump of the money she will get in the divorce anyway. 2. Don't give her anything at all. Tell her to duck off. 3. Give her these months' rent and ask for it to be paid back, or not paid back. Her life has completely fallen apart since the separation, so the decision is between feeling sorry for her, being the bigger person, smoothing our relations, and giving her nothing because she cheated with at least 2 men over the past 6 months. Still lies about it and hasn't changed her attitude towards me at all. My lawyer says don't give her a penny until the divorce. Our son lives with me during weekdays and her at weekends. I give her money to support him at weekends, which is separate to what I'm talking about here. She has no family to stay with here. I am not sure what friends she has left, as she lied to most of them too. Her attitude to me is just ridiculously bad considering what she did. I have never done anything bad to this girl but provide for her. She seems intent on punishing me for kicking her out, as if it's all my fault. She's emotionally stunted and doesn't rationalize like normal people. Months later, why is it hurting me so much that she is seeing someone else? She cheated on me. We've been separated 6 months. We're getting divorced on good terms. We agree on childcare. Our son is happy. I've realized that myself and my wife are just not compatible at all. I didn't take the end of our relationship with any massive difficulty. Sure, I was hurt about the cheating and the lies, but the actual breakdown of our marriage was slow and came gradually. Finding out about the cheating was just the last nail in the coffin. It was more relief when we actually separated. She takes our son on the weekends, but she had asked for today and tonight off to go out. Fine by me. She needs to start a life too. I know she has a boyfriend that hasn't seemed to lift her spirits much. She dropped our son off about an hour ago and she was already dressed up. It's great that she is moving on, as this has been a very difficult time for her. And if she can be happy, it helps me too, as there is less conflict, which in turn helps with our son. So why am I struggling with the fact she has a boyfriend and is going out? I feel like I want to keep texting her today. I should mention that I did meet someone I get on. We're dating very slowly. I can't shake the thoughts of her with someone else. Strange, as I've already had to come to terms with her having an affair for a year, which now doesn't bother me much. Maybe I do love my wife and I never dealt with it. I have never even cried once about the whole thing. I am extremely attracted to her. I really don't mean to sound like a pig, but I am attracted to her to the point it's driving me crazy. Is this normal? I do have a little bit of a physical life elsewhere. I don't feel hard up in general. She just drives me crazy, which is probably why I married her. I could never trust her again though. We're not even that compatible, clearly, as our marriage broke down spectacularly. It is very frustrating, as I have spent the last 5 to 6 months relatively happy and believing I was doing well and making sensible choices. I don't know what to do about this girl I am dating. I thought I was doing fine with that a few weeks back, and now I feel I'll have to end it, as things are not as rosy as I thought they were. On paper, she is the absolute perfect match for me. I think I'll regret ending it in a few years when I look back at this. But it's unfair to continue with her, right? She lives a fair way from me, so we've not become extremely close yet, but feel that it's only a matter of time if we continue as we are. The divorce is still happening. Maybe my real question is, how do you detach from your previous partner? Comment down below your answer for OP. I think the best way, it is just to meet more people. That is the first step to detachment. What methods you guys have? Check out the recent stories and stay tuned for the next one.